All right, hear me out. I finally found a policy of the Trump administration that I vehemently disagree with. Are you ready? On the surface, it sounds pretty good. And it has to do with foreign aid and NGOs. So currently, take a country like Mozambique, for example. Say we want to give Mozambique $26 million to help stop AIDS. The way we currently do it, we say, hey, Mozambique, you guys just riddled with AIDS. You know what you could use? Some condoms and a class on how to put on a condom. So we're going to give you $26 million, and that'll make us feel good about being the world's most preeminent, colonizing power, or whatever they say. So anyhow, there would be NGOs, people that really care, Americans who really care about Mozambique and condoms and putting condoms on Mozambique men so that they don't die of AIDS from not using condoms when they're doing what they do when they're not using condoms. So they go, hey, NGO, you're an American, you really care about condoms in Mozambique. We're going to give you $26 million, and can you go buy some condoms and then give people in Mozambique a class on how to put on a condom so they don't die of AIDS from sticking, their male appendage in anything that moves? And then the American NGO, non-governmental organization, will say, oh, I care so much about Mozambique and AIDS and condoms. So yeah, I'll take your $26 million and I will buy a bunch of condoms, and I'll hold a class in the village about how to put a condom on. And they give the NGO this money. What the NGO does from that point, well, that's a different story. But instead, the Trump administration, what they're proposing is, instead of taking $26 million for condoms for Mozambique and a class on how to put on a condom, they're going to give the money directly to Mozambique. So they're going to say, hey, Mr. Prime Presidential King Leader of Mozambique, I don't know what his direct title is, but I'm just assuming his name is Prince Prime Manager King Elite Leader of Mozambique. Here's $26 million. Why don't you go ahead and buy some condoms from the condom store and teach your people through a class, maybe on the computer, maybe on the chalkboard, how to put on a condom. And then the supreme leader, Prince King, president of Mozambique, will take that $26 million and, then he's actually gonna steal it. He's not gonna buy, he'll buy a couple condoms. He'll go down to the little, store, and he'll buy like a box of condoms, probably mostly for his personal use. But then he's gonna steal the money, and then he's gonna buy a house, presumably a Rolls Royce, and then another village. Like, instead of conquering the village, he'll buy it. But previously, we would send that money to an American NGO. Then they would buy three boxes of condoms, and then they would steal the rest. But here goes the beautiful thing about it. They would buy 3 boxes of condoms, right? And then they would steal, out of the 26 million, they're just going to steal 16 million. And the rest is going to go to condoms. And then they're going to buy a computer program from an American company and make a video from a production company about how to put on a condom that they could show to the Mozambique people, to the guys that are getting this AIDS and spreading it everywhere, because they can't control their desires. or something. I don't know why. But, and then some of the money goes to Mozambique people, some goes to the condoms, and then the American NGO steals the rest. But here goes the beautiful thing about it. The American guy, he goes and buys a Rolls Royce in his little town. He lives in Northern Virginia, obviously. Or she lives in Northern Virginia, obviously. And they build an addition onto the house, get the kitchen redone, and then they go on vacation. But all that stolen money, here goes the thing, all that stolen money stays in the United States. It's kind of like, it's like a stimulus package, if you will. Whereas if you just send the money to Mozambique, and then they steal the money, it doesn't stimulate the American economy, because the crown prince, king, ruler, president, prime minister of Mozambique, he's not spending that money in America unless he decides to visit and like stays at the Four Seasons Hotel and gets a bunch of hookers and uses a condom, of course, you know. But other than that, he's not spending the money in the United States of America like the NGO does when they steal it. So, I mean, the other alternative is to not do foreign aid, to not buy condoms for people in Mozambique. But that's a little too extreme. So I suggest keep giving the money to the NGOs and just make sure that whenever they steal the money, that they buy American. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is your solution to the whole NGO stolen money problem and me disagreeing vehemently with the Trump administration on this one. Thank you.